How did one fun dinner turn into me getting served papers in my office lobby? I thought I was the one telling the story and making him look small. Why did he stay calm, call a lawyer, and let the result hit me in public? My name is Sula Beaumont, and I always thought I was the reasonable one in our marriage. I worked at a busy clinic. I kept the calendar in my head. I remembered birthdays, school forms, dentist visits, and the right snacks for our kids. Ethan liked to talk about purpose and helping people. I liked results. I told myself respect follows results, and I had results. Ethan changed his career 2 years ago. He used to sell software and wear clean shirts. Now he wore dark uniforms and came home with tired eyes. He said the work mattered. He said he wanted to be useful. I nodded in front of people. I said I was proud. Inside, I felt like I had been demoted. I did not say that out loud. I was not that kind of wife, at least not in public. That morning started like many others. The kitchen smelled like coffee and toast. The kids were loud. Lila wanted her blue cup. Noah wanted the same spoon as yesterday. Ethan moved slow, like his body was still at work. He asked if I could keep Lila's lunch simple. I said I already had a system. He asked why I sounded sharp. I said I was tired too, but no one clapped for me. He looked at me for a second, like he wanted to say more. Then he just washed a pan and set it to dry. I hated that calm. I wanted him to react so I could call him dramatic. Calm made me feel like I was the unstable one. His phone lit up on the counter while he tied Noah's shoes. I saw a calendar reminder for a moment. It said something like a place and a time. Downtown 10:40 a.m. It was not a work shift. It was not a kid thing. Ethan noticed my eyes. He picked up the phone and turned it face down. He did not smile. He did not explain. I asked what that was. He said it was personal. He asked why I needed to know. I said married people share schedules. He said he had shared his shifts and I had not shared mine. I laughed and told him he was paranoid. I told him he was projecting because his job was full of drama. He did not answer. He just put the kids' coats on and checked the weather like a robot. We drove in 2 cars. I told myself it was normal. I told myself it was safer because he had to sleep after night calls. But in my chest, I felt a small crack. He used to want to ride with me. He used to touch my hand at red lights. Now he kept space, like space was the only thing he could control. At the clinic, the open plan office was bright and loud. Phones rang. Printers ran. People walked fast. I liked it. Here, I had a role. Here, people needed me. I sat down and opened my schedule board. I told myself I was a leader, not just a scheduler. My friend Jenna sent a message about the weekend. She asked if I was still going to that rooftop bar for a quick drink. I said maybe. She wrote that I should come, because it was good to be seen. Jenna always talked like life was a stage. I liked her for that. She made me feel young again, not trapped in a house with sticky fingers and school newsletters. Then another message came in, not from Jenna. It was from Blake Morrison. His name showed up and my stomach did that fast flip. Blake worked for a vendor that visited our clinic. He was charming in a smooth way. He said nice things like they were facts. He once told me I had strong energy. I kept that line like a secret prize. Blake asked if I was free after work. He said he missed my laugh. He asked if I could sneak out for a bit. I looked around. I made my face blank. I told myself it was not cheating, if it was just attention. I told myself Ethan had changed first, so I was allowed to adapt. I told myself I deserved to feel wanted. I typed back that I was busy, then I added that I would try. I did not say no. All day I watched my phone like it was a mirror. When Ethan texted, I felt annoyed. When Blake texted, I felt alive. That difference made me angry at Ethan, even though he did not cause it with a single act. It was like I needed him to be the villain so I could be the hero. Near lunch, my coworker Mira talked about an ambulance she saw on the road. She said she thought Ethan was brave. She said she could never do that job. She said he must have a good heart. I smiled tight and said he liked attention. Mira looked confused. I added that the work also made him moody and distant. I said I carried the family most days. Mira nodded slowly, like she did not know what to do with that. I liked planting those seeds. If people saw him as fragile or difficult, they would praise me for staying. That was my favorite kind of praise. It was quiet and clean. It made me look loyal while I did what I wanted. When my shift ended, I said I had to finish a task. I stayed 10 more minutes, then walked out fast. I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel. I saw a missed call from no caller ID. My breath caught. I told myself it was spam. Then I saw another notification from Ethan, asking if I could pick up milk on the way home. His message was plain. No emotion, no blame. That plainness felt like punishment. At the supermarket, I moved through the aisles like a person on a mission. I bought milk and fruit pouches and cereal. I also bought a fancy coffee drink I did not need. I told myself it was a reward. I told myself I worked hard. At checkout, I saw Ethan's name on a shared account screen when I tapped my card. It made me uneasy, like my life had a paper trail, like someone could count the cost of my moods. At home, the kids were watching a cartoon. Ethan was in the kitchen, cutting carrots with steady hands. 2 mugs sat on opposite sides of the counter. I noticed that and felt insulted, as if the mugs were taking sides. He asked how my day went. I said it was hard and no one understood. He asked if I remembered the milk. I said yes, like he was a child for asking. He asked why I was tense. I said his silence made me tense. He looked down at the cutting board and said he did not want to argue in front of the kids. I said he always made me look like the bad parent. Later, when the kids were in bed, I reached for my phone. I saw Blake's last message again. He had asked if I was still coming. I did not answer, but I did not delete it either. Ethan walked past the hallway and into the living room. His laptop was open. A spreadsheet was on the screen, just rows and columns, no title. He typed for a long time. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing things. I asked what things. He said household things. He did not raise his voice. He did not accuse me. That was almost worse, because it meant he was not begging anymore. It meant he had moved into a different plan, one that did not need my approval. I went to the bedroom and told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself I was still in control. But as I lay in the dark, I kept seeing that reminder on his phone and the blank calm of that spreadsheet. It felt like the beginning of a story where I was not the narrator anymore. The next week felt like a test I did not agree to take. Ethan did not complain. He did not shout. He did not chase me around the house for answers. He acted like a man who had learned a new rule and planned to follow it. That made me angry, because I could not point to one big bad thing he did. At the clinic, I started telling my story in small pieces. I did it with a calm face, like I was sharing facts, not feelings. In the break room, Jenna asked why I looked tired. I said Ethan's new job made our home unstable. She asked if he was being mean. I said he was distant and cold, and that cold could be worse than anger. Mira asked if Ethan was okay. I said he liked to play the hero outside and then come home and act like a stranger. Mira did not argue. She just watched me like she was trying to understand. I liked that look. It made me feel important. It made me feel like I had a reason to be disappointed. Blake started sending messages at the same times each day. He wrote during my morning coffee. He wrote during lunch. He wrote right after my shift ended. He asked what I was wearing, and I told him a normal outfit, like that made it safe. He said he could picture me. He said Ethan did not know what he had. I did not correct him. I wanted someone to say Ethan was wrong, even if Ethan had not said much at all. One afternoon, Blake said he could meet me at the gym lobby because he was in the area. I said I usually did not go to the gym. He said he liked a woman who broke her routine. I told him I would try. I did not tell Ethan the truth. I told Ethan I had a staff meeting after work. He asked who the meeting was with. I said it was clinic stuff, and he would not understand. He asked why my meetings were always last minute now. I said the clinic was busy, and he should be grateful I had a steady job. He did not push. He just nodded once, like he was noting a detail. That night, I saw something new on the kitchen counter. A sticky note sat near the fruit bowl. It said, "Bring forms." There was no name on it. Ethan walked in and slid it into a drawer. The drawer made that clicking lock sound again. He did not look at me when he did it. I told myself he was being secretive to make me curious. I told myself it was a game. I still thought I was the one who could win. The next day, I drove to the gym and parked in the back. I felt silly, like a teenager. Blake was already there, leaning by the smoothie counter like he belonged in a photo. He smiled when he saw me. He asked if I was nervous. I said I was just busy. He said he liked my confidence. I said Ethan never noticed my confidence anymore. Blake said Ethan was blind. We did not do anything graphic or obvious. We stood too close. We talked too softly. That was enough. He asked if Ethan ever touched me. I said Ethan was always tired. He asked if Ethan respected me. I said respect is earned, and Ethan had stopped earning it when he changed his career without thinking of me. Blake said I deserved more. I heard myself agree. I felt proud of the sentence, like I had finally said a truth. When I got home, Ethan was in the living room with the kids. Lila was drawing. Noah was building a tower. Ethan asked how my meeting went. I said it was stressful and I did not want to talk. He said, okay. He asked if I could read Lila's school note. I said I would later. He said he already read it and signed it. That used to be my job. I felt replaced. After bedtime, I went to the hallway and saw the guest room door half open. The bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had sat there, then smoothed it down. Ethan was still sleeping in our room, but now I could see he had an exit. I asked if he planned to leave me. He asked why I spoke like that. I said he was acting strange on purpose. He said he just wanted peace. Peace sounded like an insult. I told him peace was what people asked for when they were guilty. I said he was guilty of making me lonely. He asked how he made me lonely. I said he chose that job and brought darkness home. He asked if I was seeing someone. I laughed and told him he watched too many crime shows. He did not accuse me again. He did not call me names. He only said he did not like lies in the house. I told him I never lied. I said I only kept things private because he judged everything. Ethan looked at me like he was looking at a locked door. The next morning, I noticed a small change. Ethan's keyring had a new key on it. It was plain and silver. I asked what it was for. He said it was for storage. I asked what storage. He said household storage. I said we did not need storage. He said we did now. At work, Jenna asked if I wanted to come to a rooftop bar on Friday. She said we needed a normal night, and I needed to stop acting like a wife from a sad movie. I said maybe. She asked if Ethan would mind. I said he did not get to mind, because he gave up his right to demand anything when he changed our life. Jenna laughed and said I was finally waking up. Later, I walked past the printer room and saw Ethan's name in my mind, even though he was not there. I thought of the spreadsheet on his laptop. I thought of the locked drawer. I thought of the key. The idea that he was building something without me made my stomach tight. That evening, I came home later than I said I would. Ethan asked why. I said there was an emergency at the clinic. He asked if my supervisor knew I stayed late. I said he was being controlling. He said he was not controlling, he just liked clear plans for the kids. I said he only cared about plans because he could not handle real life. He did not argue. He pulled out his phone and set an alarm. I saw the label for a second. Paper drop. He turned the phone away and went to wash the dishes. The kitchen filled with water sounds and distance. I went to the bedroom and checked my messages. Blake had sent a photo of 2 coffee cups on a table and wrote that he wished one was mine. I stared at it too long. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I was not breaking anything because Ethan had already broken the marriage first. In the dark, Ethan's phone buzzed once from somewhere in the living room. I heard a soft beep that reminded me of a recording app starting. Then it stopped. The silence after that felt heavy, like the house was holding its breath. I told myself the dinner was a chance to reset the story. Ethan's former classmates were doing well. They had clean smiles and nice watches. If I could make Ethan look small in front of them, then I could feel bigger again. That was my logic. I said to myself that a wife had the right to be honest, even if honesty hurt. Ethan told me about the dinner a week before. He said one of his old classmates planned a small reunion at an upscale bistro downtown. He said it could be good for networking, even though he was not in that world anymore. He asked if I wanted to come. I said yes right away, but not because I cared. I said yes because I wanted an audience. On the day of the dinner, I acted helpful. I ironed his shirt. I asked him what time we should leave. I even asked if he wanted me to drive so he could rest. He looked surprised. He said he was fine. He asked why I was being nice. I said I was always nice, and he just forgot. At the clinic, Jenna noticed I had makeup on. She asked who I was trying to impress. I said it was a class dinner, and I wanted to look adult. Jenna laughed and said I should remind everyone I married potential. I told her Ethan used to have potential, and then he chose an ambulance. Jenna rolled her eyes like that was a crime. She asked if she could come too. I said no, but later I changed my mind. In the afternoon, Jenna sent a message and said she was already near downtown for a showing. She said she could meet us by accident and make it fun. I told myself it would be harmless. I told myself Ethan needed to loosen up. I did not tell Ethan that part. I told Ethan it would just be us. On the drive, Ethan kept his hand steady on the wheel. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, just tired. He asked if we could try to have a good night. I said we could, if he did not act sensitive. He asked what that meant. I said he knew what it meant, and he should not make me explain basic things. He got quiet. When we arrived, the bistro looked expensive. Soft lights, clean tables, people talking like they had all the time in the world. Ethan's classmates stood near the bar. They hugged him and smiled too wide. They asked about his life. They asked about the kids. They asked about his work. Ethan answered politely. He said he was an EMT now. He said he liked the work. He said it felt real. People nodded like that was noble. I felt something hot in my chest. I did not like hearing strangers respect him. Caleb North shook Ethan's hand and said he remembered Ethan being the best presenter in school. Renee Park smiled and said she always thought Ethan was kind. Another man asked if Ethan missed sales. Ethan said he missed parts of it, but he did not miss the pressure. He said he wanted to be present for his family. That last line annoyed me. It sounded like he was the good one. It made me look like the problem, even though I had not done anything on paper. I needed to change the mood. I told a funny story about Ethan quitting his old job. I said he woke up one day and decided to be a hero, like it was a costume. People laughed a little, unsure. Ethan looked at me and asked me to stop. I said I was only joking and he was proving my point by being tense. I said everyone here could handle jokes. Renee's smile slipped. Caleb stared at his drink. I saw that and felt offended, like they were judging me. I leaned in harder. I said, Ethan chose a job that made no money and then expected me to clap. I said I had to carry the real-life stuff while he chased purpose. Ethan asked why I was doing this. I said because he needed to hear reality, and reality did not care about feelings. The table got quiet for a second. Then, someone tried to save it by asking about the kids again. I answered fast and said I did everything for them. I said Ethan was always gone. I said the kids barely saw him. Ethan looked at me like he wanted to correct me, but he did not. He just swallowed and nodded once, like he was taking a note. Jenna arrived halfway through the meal, acting surprised to see us. She hugged me and said I looked amazing. She told the table she was my friend, and she worried about me. She said she knew how hard it was to be married to a man who made impulse choices. She said it with a laugh, like it was cute. I let her talk. I did not stop her. I told myself she was helping. Ethan asked me quietly why Jenna was here. I said she happened to be nearby. He asked why I did not tell him. I said because he would have made a big deal, and I did not have the energy for his moods. When the server brought dessert, someone suggested a toast. A phone camera lifted from the end of the table. Another person said they should take a group photo for memories. I felt my chance open up again. During the toast, I smiled and raised my glass. I said I was proud of everyone for their success. Then I said, like it was light and funny, that Ethan was the only one who took the scenic route and ended up in an ambulance instead of an office. A few people laughed, but it sounded thin. Ethan asked me again to stop. I said he should relax and enjoy the moment. The group photo happened. Jenna leaned close to me and whispered that I should post it first. She said controlling the story was everything. I liked that sentence. It sounded smart. In the bathroom, I checked my phone and saw a message from Blake. He asked how my fancy night was going. He wrote that he missed me and hoped I was not wasting my time with people who did not value me. My cheeks warmed. I told myself Blake understood me. I did not reply, but I did not block him either. Back at the table, Renee asked Ethan what he liked most about his job. Ethan said he liked being useful. He said he liked knowing he helped someone. He said it made him sleep better. Renee nodded like she respected that. I felt like she was choosing him over me. I cut in and said Ethan slept fine because he avoided real problems at home. Ethan asked what problems. I said he knew, and I was tired of explaining. He asked if we could talk about it later. I said later never came with him because he hid behind his uniform. Caleb tried to change the topic. He asked about a new project at his company. Jenna jumped in and talked about housing and money. People relaxed again, but the tone around me stayed cautious. I could feel it. I told myself they were just jealous that I was honest. When the dinner ended, Ethan thanked everyone and said it was nice to see them. He said goodbye, like a polite stranger. Outside, the air was cold and clean. The parking lot lights made sharp shadows. Ethan walked a few steps ahead of me. He asked if we could go home. I said we could, but he needed to stop acting wounded. He stopped near the car and turned to me. He asked why I enjoyed humiliating him. I said I did not enjoy it. I was just tired of pretending. He asked if I even liked him anymore. I said he was making it dramatic and trying to trap me with feelings. He did not yell. He did not slam anything. He just said he would take the kids home tonight and I should not follow right away. I laughed and asked if he was punishing me like a child. He said no, he just wanted calm for them. He asked me to think about what I was doing. I watched him get into his car. For a second, I thought he might cry. He did not. He looked straight ahead and drove away. Jenna stepped beside me and said Ethan needed to grow up. She said I should post the photo and show everyone I was fine. I nodded, even though my stomach felt tight. As I opened my phone, I saw Renee across the lot with her screen up. She was not taking a picture. She was tapping, like she was saving something. I told myself it was nothing, but my hand started to shake anyway. The morning after the dinner, the house felt like a hotel room after checkout. Things were in place, but the warmth was gone. Ethan moved through the kitchen like he was following marks on the floor. He packed the kids' bags without asking me where anything was. He made their lunches with the same quiet focus he used on his uniform. I tried to act normal. I asked if he was still upset. He said he was not upset. He was just done talking in circles. I told him he was being childish and dramatic. He asked how humiliating him in public was adult. I said it was a joke, and he was choosing to be hurt. He did not answer that. He only asked if we could keep mornings calm for the kids. That request made me feel blamed. Calm sounded like an accusation. I told myself he was using the kids as a shield so I could not push back. I told myself he was controlling the mood to control me. At school pickup, I noticed eyes on me right away. Parents stood in clusters, phones in hands, like they were waiting for entertainment. I heard my name once, soft and quick. I walked slower, pretending I did not care. The line moved. A mom I barely knew smiled too wide and asked if Ethan was okay after his big career change. Her tone was sweet, but her eyes were hungry. I said Ethan loved attention, and he made choices without thinking. I said I supported him anyway because I was loyal. She nodded like she understood. Another parent asked if Ethan was still working nights. I said yes, and that it was hard on me. I said I basically did everything alone. I said it like a fact, not a complaint. When Lila got in the car, she asked why Daddy slept on the couch last night. Her voice was small. I told her Daddy was tired and needed space because his job made him stressed. She asked if Daddy was mad at me. I said Daddy was just confused. I said adults sometimes got confused when they felt insecure. Even as I said it, I knew it was a dirty sentence. But it felt good. It placed him below me. It made me feel safe. At home, Noah ran to Ethan and asked if they could play. Ethan said yes and sat on the floor with him. He built a tower and let Noah knock it down. Lila sat at the table and colored. She watched Ethan like she was checking his face for weather. I stood in the doorway and waited for Ethan to look up and see me. He did not. It felt like he was removing me from the center on purpose. That made me want to force myself back in. I told him we needed to talk about the dinner. He asked what there was to talk about. I said he embarrassed me by acting cold in front of his friends. He asked how he embarrassed me when he stayed polite. I said his silence made me look like the bad one. He asked if I heard myself. I said he was twisting things. He stood up and told the kids to wash their hands for lunch. His voice stayed even. He asked me to keep our talks private. He said the kids did not need to carry adult shame. I heard the word shame and felt attacked. I told my sister Marin about it later, when she called. She asked how I was doing. I said Ethan was punishing me and trying to make me feel crazy. She asked if I said something harsh at dinner. I said I was honest, and men could not handle honest wives. Marin hesitated and said people online were talking. She said Jenna posted a photo, and the comments were not on my side. That annoyed me. I told her comments did not matter. I said I could always explain it. Marin said the problem was that Ethan did not fight back. She said people liked a quiet man who looked hurt. I told her that was unfair. I said I was the one doing everything and no one cared. After the call, I checked social media. Jenna had posted the group photo with a caption about old classmates and new paths. In the comments, someone wrote that Ethan looked tired but kind. Someone else wrote that it was brave to leave a high-paying job to help people. I scrolled and felt my face burn. Then I saw a comment from Renee Park. It was short. It said something like, "Some jokes are not jokes." It was not a direct attack, but it felt like one. People liked her comment. That felt like a door closing. I messaged Jenna and asked why she left the comments up. She said it was engagement and I should not care. She said I should lean into it and make Ethan the sensitive guy so I looked strong. I told her she was right. I needed a plan. At the clinic the next day, I acted calm and bright. I told Mira that the dinner was fine, but Ethan had been off lately. Mira asked what I meant. I said he got intense about small things and then shut down. I said I worried he was becoming unstable because of work trauma. Mira frowned and said that sounded serious. I shrugged like a caring wife. I said I was trying to help him, but he refused help. That was my favorite kind of lie. It sounded responsible. That afternoon, I took the kids to the playground. I told myself it was for them, but I also wanted to be seen. I wanted people to witness me being a good mother. Lila climbed and waved. Noah chased a ball. Other parents watched from benches. A woman I knew from pickup asked where Ethan was. I said he was working and processing feelings. She asked if everything was okay. I said marriage was hard when one person made selfish choices. I did not say which choices. I let her fill it in. Lila came back to me with sand on her hands and asked if Daddy still loved us. I felt my throat tighten, but I swallowed it. I told her Daddy loved her and Noah. I said adults sometimes got confused about love between adults, but kids were always safe. She nodded, but her eyes did not relax. When we got home, Ethan's car was in the driveway, pointed toward the street like he had backed in fast. That detail bothered me. It looked like a car ready to leave. Inside, the house smelled like toner, sharp and dry. Ethan was not in the kitchen. I heard a faint hum from the guest room, like a machine working. I walked to the hallway and saw the door almost closed. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. His voice came through the door, calm but distant. I asked why he needed to organize now. He said it helped him think. I asked what he was thinking about. He said the future. I laughed and said he sounded dramatic again. The hum stopped. The door opened a little, but not fully. I saw the edge of a small shredder on the floor and a stack of papers near it. I could not read anything. I could only see that the stack looked neat, like someone cared about order. Ethan stepped out and closed the door behind him. He asked me not to go in there. I asked why. He said it was his personal space right now. I said personal space was for roommates, not spouses. He said spouses also needed boundaries. Boundaries made me feel powerless. I told him he was doing this to punish me. He asked if I really thought he spent his energy on punishment. He said he spent his energy on the kids and on work and on getting his head clear. I said he was acting like a saint. He said he did not need to be a saint. He just needed to be lawful and steady. The word lawful landed strange in my stomach. I told myself he was just using big words to scare me. I told myself he would calm down if I pushed harder. In the stairwell landing, where the light always flickered, I stepped in front of him and asked again if he planned to leave. He asked why I needed threats to feel real. I said I needed honesty. He said honesty was exactly what I needed to practice. I felt the urge to accuse him of something, anything, just to make him react. I said his job made him cold, and I could not live with a cold man. He said I did not live with a cold man. I lived with a tired man who stopped begging for basic respect. I told him he was twisting my words. He said he was done twisting anything. He said he would speak only when it mattered. Then he walked past me and went to the kitchen to pack the kids' snacks for the next day, like I was a piece of furniture he learned to walk around. By Friday, I felt like I was losing air in my own house. Not because Ethan yelled. He did not. He moved in a straight line through each day, like he was following a plan only he could see. He spoke to me in short sentences. He asked about the kids. He reminded me of pickup times. He did not ask about my feelings. That silence made me feel invisible, and I hated being invisible. Ethan's parents invited us over for dinner. I told myself it would be fine. I told myself I could charm them. I could still win adults, even if I was losing my husband. I wore a simple sweater and practiced a calm face in the bathroom mirror. In their living room, everything looked neat and fixed, like time behaved there. Diane had a pot roast in the oven. Gordon watched the news with the volume low. Lila and Noah ran to the toy basket like they always did. Ethan helped them take off their shoes. He said thank you when Diane handed him a plate. He looked like a polite guest in his own family. Diane asked how work was. I said the clinic was understaffed and I carried most of the pressure. She nodded but did not praise me the way my mother did. Gordon asked Ethan how his shifts were. Ethan said they were heavy but manageable. Gordon asked if Ethan was sleeping enough. Ethan said he was trying. I waited for someone to ask how I was handling Ethan's job. When no one did, I pushed it myself. I said it was hard to be married to someone who chose a low-status job and expected everyone to clap. Diane's eyes lifted, slow. She asked what I meant by low status. I laughed and said I was just being honest. I said we had bills and kids and real life. Ethan's jaw tightened once. He asked me to stop. I said he always asked me to stop because he could not handle the truth. Diane said we should eat. Gordon said nothing for a moment, then asked me if honesty had to be cruel. I said I was not cruel, I was realistic. I said, respect follows results. And EMT work was not results. It was chaos. That was the wrong sentence. I saw it land. Diane set her fork down carefully. She asked if I heard myself. I said she was taking it personally because it was Ethan. Diane said she took it personally because Ethan was her son and he had worked hard. She said he had also worked hard to be a good father. She said she would not sit and listen to him be mocked like a joke. I felt heat in my face. I turned to Ethan and waited for him to defend me, just once, so I could say he attacked me. He did not. He told Diane that it was okay. He said he did not want to fight. Gordon looked at Ethan and said he did not like seeing Ethan treated like that. He said a man could be patient, but patience was not the same as permission. I jumped in and said Ethan was playing a victim for sympathy. Ethan asked what sympathy he had asked for. I said his silence was a performance. Ethan said he did not have the energy for performances. Diane asked me if I was happy. I said happiness was not the point, respect was. Diane said respect also meant basic kindness. After dinner, Diane asked Ethan to help her carry something to the garage. They walked out together. I watched through the window. They stood near the driveway for a minute, talking low. Gordon stayed inside with the kids. He asked Lila about school. He asked Noah about his tower. He did not look at me. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Blake asked if I wanted to meet later. He wrote that I deserved someone who chose me first. I stared at the message and felt that old thrill and that new fear mixed together. I did not reply, but I held the phone like it was a life raft. When Ethan came back inside, he did not look angry. That was the problem. He looked decided. Diane hugged the kids and kissed their heads. She did not hug me. She told me to drive safe. Her voice was polite, but it had a line in it now. On the drive home, I tried to start a fight. I said his parents were rude to me. Ethan asked what they did that was rude. I said they acted like I was a monster. Ethan asked if mocking him in front of them was kind. I said he provoked it by changing careers. Ethan said changing careers was not cheating on someone's dignity. That sentence made my stomach drop. I asked what he meant. He said he meant what he said. He asked if we could keep the kids calm when we got home. I said he was using the kids again. He said he was protecting them. The next day, I took the kids to the supermarket. I told myself it was normal. I told myself I was still the one who ran the house. I put milk, fruit, and cereal in the cart. I added a few things I liked, just to prove I could. At checkout, the line was slow. The cashier smiled and asked if I found everything. I said yes with a bright voice. I tapped the card. It declined. I tapped again. It declined again. The cashier's smile got tight. People behind me shifted. I felt my ears ring. I tried a different card. Declined. I laughed like it was a silly glitch. I said the machine must be acting up. The cashier asked if I wanted to try another payment. I nodded too fast. Ethan walked in from the entrance at that moment, like a bad joke timed perfectly. He looked at my face and then at the screen. He did not smirk. He did not scold. He just took out his card and paid. He asked the cashier for the receipt. He folded it carefully and put it in his wallet. In the car, I exploded. I said he embarrassed me on purpose. Ethan asked how he embarrassed me when he solved the problem quietly. I said he should have let me handle it. He asked how I planned to handle it with a declined card. I said he must have moved money or frozen something. Ethan said he had not frozen anything. He said he was just making sure bills were paid and records were clear. I asked why records mattered so much. He said because confusion helped liars. I told him he was accusing me. He said he was not accusing. He was observing. I said he was controlling. He said he was choosing stability. I said he was punishing me. He said punishment was emotional, and he was not doing emotional games anymore. At home, I saw him open his laptop at the kitchen table. Multiple tabs were open. I only caught pieces when he stood up. Storage options, delivery tracking, notary near me. He closed the lid when he saw me looking. He did not hide it in a panic. He hid it like someone shutting a door because the room was not mine. I tried a different tactic. I acted soft. I asked if we could start over. I said I had been stressed. Ethan asked what starting over meant. I said it meant we stopped talking about the dinner and we stopped acting like strangers. He asked if starting over included telling the truth. I said I always told the truth. He looked at me and said that was the problem. Later, in the driveway, I stood behind him as he loaded the kids' weekend bags into the trunk. The sky was grey. The air smelled like cold metal. I told him I hated what he was doing. He asked what he was doing. I said he was making me feel unsafe. He asked how I was unsafe when he had not raised his voice or touched me or threatened me. I said emotional safety mattered too. He said emotional safety also meant not being mocked in public. I stepped closer and told him he was weak. I said he could not protect me. He could not provide like other men, and now he could not even fight for us. Ethan closed the trunk gently. He looked at me with tired eyes, not angry eyes. He said he had fought for us for a long time, and I had called it nothing. I demanded to know what he planned to do next. He said he planned to do what was proper. I laughed and asked if he meant he would make a dramatic speech. Ethan said no. He said he would handle it properly, like an adult, and he would not argue in circles anymore. Then his phone rang. The screen showed an unknown number. Ethan glanced at it once, then stepped away from me toward the side of the house. He answered quietly, with the kids' laughter still behind him, and he kept his back to me like I was no longer part of the conversation. My name stayed in my mouth like a bad taste as I walked into the office tower lobby on Monday. I told myself it was just a rough patch. I told myself Ethan would cool down once he missed me. I even practiced a sad face in the elevator reflection, like sadness could fix math. I saw him near the glass doors. He was not alone. He stood straight, calm, in a clean jacket, not his uniform. Diane was there with the kids' backpacks, holding Noah's hand. Lila stood close to her, quiet. Ethan looked at me like he was checking a list, not like he was remembering love. A woman I did not know stepped forward and asked if I was Sula Beaumont. I said yes, and I tried to sound confident. She said she had legal documents for me and asked me to confirm my name again. I said she was embarrassing me, and I asked why she was doing this here. She said she was doing her job and she needed to hand me the envelope. I grabbed it too hard. Papers slid in my hands. I saw words that made my stomach drop. I saw divorce. I saw temporary orders. I saw dates. I saw a schedule for the kids that started today. I saw a line about not removing money from joint accounts beyond normal expenses. I saw a line about communication being only about the children and only in writing. I turned to Ethan and asked if he was serious. He said he was serious and he was keeping it lawful. I told him he was trying to punish me. He said he was trying to protect the kids and protect facts. I said he was cold. He said he was calm on purpose. I tried to pull Diane into it. I said she was helping him take my children. Diane asked me to lower my voice because Lila was shaking. I looked down and saw Lila's eyes locked on the papers, like she could read fear. That made my anger rise, because it made me feel watched by my own child. Ethan asked me to follow the schedule and not make a scene. I said he was making the scene. He said I made scenes for months and he was done.